I'm a psychologist, and in light of the Clayface trailer coming out, I thought it would be really interesting to explore the psychology of what would happen to you if you were to actually lose your face due to body disfigurement or a severe car crash. Like, what realistically and based on the psychology research could actually happen to a person? What would their life look like if this actually happened? So let's dive right in, shall we? It's a bit grim. So, obviously, the human face is the epicenter of recognition. You literally look at someone and you can identify who they are. If you lose your face, people will literally not be able to recognize you. Some people will be able to be like, yep, that's Jerry. Yep, that's Jim. Yep, that's Samantha. So you would need prompts from other people to be reminded. Other people would need to prompt other people to remind them who you are. Literally, before anyone even recognizes you, it won't even happen. Like, think about that for a second. If you literally lose your face, people can't recognize you. Your social network might start to collapse. What can literally happen, and the research backs this one up, is that it starts to become a gap between who you are on the inside and how others perceive you. See, let's say you've lived a bit of a life before the injury occurs, and then all of a sudden the injury occurs and your sense of self gets disrupted because you know who you are and you know how you interact with other people. But because of the facial recognition that goes when you lose your face, people won't interact with you the same way that you interacted with them historically. So the gap between who you are, who you know you want to be, and who you've been, and how the people on the outside view you will continue to widen, and your self-concept will get absolutely shaken, no doubt. What can also happen, and it's very likely to happen, is you might start to really severely dislike your body. You might experience body shock, where you look in the mirror and you feel very, very depressed. You are no longer you, in a way. The central feature that makes you, you, one of the central features that makes you, you, is gone. You might grieve the face that you can remember and grieve the future lifestyle that you might never have. And it would be, well, psychologically, people generally speaking, don't really cope fully with that. They can never really fully internalize that idea that they have to shift who they are permanently in relation to what's happened to them. Another important thing that might happen to you is because facial recognition is so central to human interaction, particularly what can happen is you read emotions through facial expression. A smile, well, that was a terrible smile. Smile or a sad face or whatever, right? Or a smirking face like this. If you lose your face, like Clayface has, people will really struggle to infer what emotion you're trying to communicate. If you smile, it might look horrific. If you look sad, you might not even move the shape of your face. If you have fear or warmth, these emotions that we communicate via our facial expressions, literally you might struggle. Actually, you very much will struggle. So you'll have to rely more on things like what you're saying. You have to be much more clear in your speech because others may misread your mood or intention, and simple conversations can require more explicit explanation because your ability to communicate your emotions via facial analysis will go. You also might develop a sense of feeling judged by others. Your social anxiety can grow vastly. You might notice that people stare at you. They might avoid you. They might feel pity or disgust, and you might feel that those emotions are anticipated. You might feel that the spotlight effect is on you. Everyone is looking at you because you look vastly different to most other humans. And you might struggle greatly to interact in social crowds much like you used to because you might notice people sort of staring at you out the corner of their eyes. And you might start to really become ultra sensitive to fearing of negative evaluations, which can be socially and mentally exhausting. Whatever social roles you inhibited, whatever social roles you had might shift. Your friends might look at you differently, or maybe not at all. Your partner might look at you differently, workers, and most certainly strangers who you've never met. All those people that you interacted with and the social roles that you fitted in within your greater social network will probably alter. Depending on your job, you might have to permanently shift jobs depending on how much if your face is required for your job, which is probably a lot of jobs for a lot of the time. You might have to go into other things that don't require staring at people, like working on a computer. So not only, and relates back to the other slide of your self-concept will be, I was a nurse or a social worker, and now people can barely look at me, but I know I'm a social worker or a nurse or a teacher. But because the kids at school don't look at you the same anymore, you had to end up resigning from your job, and now you're not sure what you're going to do with yourself. Your identity becomes something negotiated in every interaction. Now, this is the last slide here to end on a bit of a positive note, because I've covered probably 6 upsetting psychological effects, but I want to cover something that is a bit more positive. The core self is not actually going to be totally destroyed or erased. It has to be rebuilt. So your memories, your personality, your values, your attachment, all these things will remain intact. You will invariably have to alter your sense of self to interact with the world in a way in which is more healthy for you, but your mind and body and social network will probably adapt. All these effects I'm talking about are probably more immediate. Some of them might be enduring, like strange looks from other strangers and a fear of negative evaluation. But there is a silver lining to all of this, in that you can actually change who you perceive yourself as in relation to the environment as you move forward. And that's it. That's the positive spin. And that's backed with facts as well, that over time your identity can change and become stable again. And I guess it also depends in part on the severity of the facial injuries, because it's very possible that the facial injuries may heal. I guess I'm talking about more worst case scenarios where it's somewhat permanent, if not totally permanent. But I also can envision a world in which it's very much healable. And with the advances in modern medicine, I wouldn't be surprised if that can become a thing. But anyway, that's the end of this psychological analysis of the effects of what it would be like to lose your face in the context of the film that's coming up, Clayface. I look forward to watching it. Maybe I'll do a psychological analysis of the movie itself. That's the end of this video. I'm a psychologist from Australia. Thank you for watching, and subscribe for more.